Welcome to the mega book haul. I'm always conflicted about doing book hauls because I don't want people to think that they need to be buying every book they want to read or every book that they come across, or they just need to collect and hoard a cajillion books, because that is very much not my mindset and not what I'm doing. And in the beginning, it was just like a book here and a book there and not really enough for a video anyway. But then over the course of the last couple months, I just haven't been able to help myself, and that book here and there has turned into this huge pile. And I am excited about these books and I want to share them with you guys. If I share it in a video, it no longer becomes an accident and it becomes strategic content. With that disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to share these books with you. So the first one, I got this at Social Goods Marketplace, which is in St. Louis, and I love the business, love the owner. They're very eco-friendly, very savvy about human rights and personal development and all that stuff, and they always host great events. So I wanted to support them by buying a book. And so I got Happy City, Transforming Our Lives Through Urban Design by Charles Montgomery. Very excited to read this because I've really progressed in my nonfiction reading from reading about just the problem, all the problems in the world, to wanting some hopeful stuff where there's possible solutions, where there are people getting it right. There are imaginative solutions in play. It might not be fully there, but it's something to latch onto in these dark times. And I'm really excited to see what this dives into. And as much as it's good for like just my general awareness and like living my life and helping out causes, as a writer, I think it'd be cool because I want to write more hopeful sci-fi, and this will give ideas, hopefully. Oh, okay. So I didn't find this on my own. This was a funny coinky dink because I have a friend who works at the bookstore I used to work at, and this came in, and it is insane if you know what it is that it came in at all. And that is boop-a-doop, Manacled by Sen Lin Yu. And the reason why this is so crazy is because this is a Harry Potter fanfic. This is a Hermione and Draco kind of meets Handmaid's Tale kind of vibe. And it's fanfiction. It is not actually like formally published. It lives on the internet. So someone specifically ordered to get this cool like hardbound bind up of it with like the art and stuff. And it's got like a little ribbon to keep your place, which is great because this is a honker. And then it even came with like art from it. I presume it's original to it. I'm not sure. I am not savvy, but ooh boy. And also, whenever I find the time to read this, get ready because I will do a video on it. I've heard good things. This is my first foray into Harry Potter fanfiction, and I'm excited. Okay. I was looking down because I'm just like, I went on a thrifting trip, not for books, but of course I got books. And I couldn't remember where I got what from. Doesn't really matter. It was Goodwill and like St. Vincent de Paul's or whatever. And so, yeah, I got these. First, Business Made Simple, 60 Days to Master Leadership, Sales, Marketing, Execution Management, Personal Productivity, and More by Donald Miller, which I didn't even know he had a new book. Oh, the sticker's still on. This was Goodwill. This was the Goodwill one. And this one's from 2021. So relatively recent, great condition. And he's the guy known for his best-selling book, Building a Story Brand, which I read and I did enjoy a lot. And so I thought, I will get this. I will read this. I'm excited to see what I learn, particularly because every time I go visit family in KC, my Uncle Mark always wants to know what business books I've read. So I can't let Uncle Mark down. I have to have content to talk about with him. Yeah, so much excite. And then I got these three at, I guess it was, no, it was, where was it at? Why does this bother me so much? It's the only other thrift store that exists. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No one cares. I got these 3 books. The Wonder of Small Things, Poems of Peace and Renewal, edited by James Cruz. I like to read poems. They're hit and miss, but I do like to read them. And I thought this was a great way to experience a bunch of different poets and see what I like and what I don't like. And then we have Gabriella, Clove, and Cinnamon by Jorge Amito. And apparently this is a beloved Brazilian classic. Hello. Yes, please. Translated by James L. Taylor and William Grossman. I never heard of it. And so that's part of the excitement of it, is picking up cool stuff that fell in my path and reading more diversely. I don't know if I've read a lot of Brazilian stuff, but apparently it's about a migrant worker and the owner of a town's most popular cafe who hires her. The Atlantic Monthly calls it enchanting, and a comedy, vivid, believable, and entertaining. We'll see. I'm taking a risk on it, but that's part of the fun. And last but not least, I got the Crab Orchard Review, Writing of and from the Americas. And for those who don't know, I am one of the 5 million unpublished people who want to be writers. And online magazines are a good foray, especially for like shorter works. And so I wanted to find some literary magazines that I actually truly like, because even though it's a numbers game, the whole idea of just sending 5 million things out to random stuff, just I can't get behind. So I need to find the ones that I love and then just annoy them to death until they publish me. Then, I don't remember the dates on this. These are all from the last couple months, so just bear in mind, these accumulated over time. I'm not as crazy as it might appear. I got 4 books from Half Price Books because I went to the St. Charles location, which is further away from me, so I don't go as often. And I found some goodies. First, we have Granada Interiors, volume 156. Again, another online magazine that does do physical copies, and the hipster in me just could not say no to this cover. It's so grungy, and it's the girl I'll never be, but is so badass and cool. Enough said. Okay. The Queer Principles of Kit Webb by Kate Sebastian. Fun little gay queer romance. It just seems like fun. So we have, let me remind myself. Okay. So Kit used to be a thief, and Piercy is an aristocrat. And they have to join forces for some reason. Love it. Seems silly and cute and stupid. What more could you ask for? Never fall for your fiance. Good advice. Virginia Heath. And it just seems good. And I'm like in a real romancy mood. But I'm also picky about my romance. And so if the first couple pages can make me laugh or make me intrigued, that's normally a good sign. Hopefully it'll be a good time. And then this one I've actually already read, but it was on clearance and I wanted to own it. I'm a Stranger Here Myself by Bill Bryson. They're really short, just little non-fiction bites, if you will, for like a newspaper or magazine or something or other, of his experience after living for 20 years in Britain. He moves back to the States and he's American, with his like British wife and children, and just the things he notices, the difference between the two, what he's got to get like accustomed to again, or that didn't exist when he was originally in America. He just a funny good time, and I can see myself rereading this, both as a whole and just like picking up a little bit here and there, and just read a couple pages, put it down. Just seems like a good thing for when I'm in a funk. Okay. This next one goes to the power of my bookish abilities. My friend and I did probably the most white woman thing we could do, which is we went drinking at a different location, which we went to a winery 2 hours away, and it was awesome and delightful. But then at the winery, there was a book. Only I could go to a winery and end up with a book. I didn't know they had books at a winery. But this is really cool because apparently there's a thing called the Norton grape that was used a lot in Missouri wineries for making wine. Duh. And due to prohibition, it nearly stopped being used entirely. And these strange guys are able to help the grape make a comeback. And so it's the story of that. So, The Wild Vine, A Forgotten Grape and the Untold Story of American Wine by Todd Kleiman. Oh, yes. Okay. So my cousin was in town for a little bit, and so I was spending time at my mom's so that I could be with my cousin as often as possible. And we went to the pool, which happened to be a minute away. Like, we had to drive past the library to go. This was the library I used to always go to, so I'm like, hey, can we just sneak in there real quick? Old time's sake. And sometimes they have free books, and they did have a free book, and I was kind of surprised because it's a newer book. So I don't know how this happened, but they just had for free. I got Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I don't know if I like Sally Rooney. I haven't read her. I don't know if I'll like Intermezzo, but for free 99, I'm willing to give it a shot. So one of my clients is planning to move, and so they're working on decluttering, packing, all that fun stuff. And so we were working a lot on their books. And there was actually 3 books of theirs that I was willing to buy off of them because I wanted, but they were kind enough to just be like, you can have them. That are like, score. And that is There There by Tommy Orange. Heard good things about it. I think it follows 3 separate characters that are heading to go to a powwow because they're Native American. And so it's supposed to be this very literary instant classic, supposedly. I've heard nothing but good things, and I want to read it. Then we have Renegade Beauty, Reveal and Revive Your Natural Radiance by Natalie Artemis. There we go. And hello, I've only wanted to check this out for 5 million years because I think a couple years ago, the author of this was on a podcast that I listened to, and I just never got around to finding it, reading it. And now I own it. You are mine. It's a heavy book, though. I don't know what kind of papers they'd be using, but it's got some hoof to it. Not to shade a book on its weight, but you know. And then How to Do the Work. Recognize your patterns, heal from your past, and create yourself by Dr. Nicole LePera, the holistic psychologist. So she's on the interwebs. I see her from time to time on Instagram, but she's been on several podcasts that I listen to. As it mentioned, she's a psychologist, but she has a more well-rounded, accepting perspective of things. And I've wanted to read her work ever since I heard her on a podcast. And so, bam, now I can. So I went to put some books in the neighborhood library. Actually, a couple neighborhood libraries. The downside is that I have to open the door to the neighborhood libraries. And then I found books I wanted. So I went from getting rid of books to adopting some. And I got Unruly, The Ridiculous History of England's Kings and Queens by David Mitchell. And I love me a history book that has a sense of humor. So fun. It makes nonfiction so consumable. You're just like, this is so quirky and weird and I love it. And then this one is a long time coming. It was kind of wild that I found it. It's Jitterbug Perfume by Tom Robbins. And you probably have never heard of this because I hadn't heard of this. But back in 2018, I was going on a small vacation to Koh Samui, which is an island in Thailand. And talking to this lovely lady on the bus right there, and we were talking about books at some point because of course it's me, we're going to talk about books, and she mentioned that I had to read Jitterbug Perfume, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I get recommendations all the time that I immediately then forget because I have the memory of a goldfish, but somehow I remembered this, and proceeded to not be able to find it for 7 years. I even worked at a bookstore for 2 years. Now, I probably could have found it at a different location and had it shipped to me, but I just figured at some point it's gonna come in. Like, what are the chances? Like, it's not gonna be swooped up. It's an older book. Just be patient, it'll come in. It's general fiction, it'll be fine. Nope, never did. And I've perused many used bookstores since then. Never found it. So glad to finally have this stupid thing. I hope I like it. There's a lot there's a lot of built up between like trying to get this darn thing, so I hope it delivers. Alright, so a bookstore I love called Betty's Books is moving, and so they had this mega super awesome sale because they didn't want to have to move all of those books, and so there was some super rad deals. I got these 2 books for 75% off, so I think they were both $7 a piece. For those who know about comics and graphic novels, that's like insane. They both, I think, retail for $28 brand new. And these are brand new. They're not used. So I had to. Okay. Anyway, this is The Journey of Marcel Grobe by Philip Collin and Sebastian Goethals. In his June 1944, a 17-year-old Frenchman is conscripted into the Waffen SS. And so just very intriguing. And it seems like it's a frame story with this dude as an older gentleman who's being interviewed / interrogated about his involvement with being a part of the SS and the Nazis and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, hot diggity damn. It's probably going to be a hard read, but I think it'll be really good. And then this one is a graphic novel hardcover, still wrapped, for 7 buckaroonies. So I had to get it. It's called A Journal of My Father by Jiro Taniguchi. Looks like cool art. And after well over a decade's absence, Yogichi Yamashita journeys back to his hometown to attend his father's funeral. As the relatives gather and the stories flow alongside the drinks, his childhood starts to resurface. Seems like an interesting family history, memoir story kind of vibe. And then they had a small section of stuff that was like free with a high enough purchase. And so I'm giving a go. The Roast Penguin Chronicles. Hoosh, Scurvy Days, Sleeping with Vegetables, and Other Adventures in Antarctic Cuisine by Jason C. Anthony. What a quirky looking cover. And apparently it's from the author of the acclaimed Substack series. Part adventure tale, part cookbook, part engrossing history of doomed expeditions and food-fueled endurance. And serving up echoes of Anthony Bourdain. I love my boy Anthony Bourdain. So that's a high reference to make that it needs to now live up to. But just, it's so goofy. Oh, and then finally, for Betty's Books, I got for 40% off this cottagecore cross-stitch kit. Oh my god, just in time for fall / winter. It includes the patterns and everything you need. Like, that's gonna be fucking amazing. I'm gonna live my best moment watching Gilmore Girls and making these things. And lastly, what's it called? What's the store called? I'm gonna look it up. That's how much this bothers me. We're gonna look this up. I guess it is Society. Anyway, I wasn't planning on getting books. I was hoping to get a rug. I was hoping to get 2 rugs, actually, and some other nickety-knacks, but I couldn't say no to these books. So here we are. Wahala by Nikki May. This is a newer book. Again, I don't normally get hardcover, but it just seemed really interesting. Follows 3 Anglo-Nigerian best friends and the lethally glamorous 4th woman who infiltrates their group and compares it to the gals from Sex and the City, which I don't know and don't care about, but that's fine. And this is from 2022, guys. I never read books that are new. And so it's a very different type of story than what I normally read, but I feel like it's so common for people my age to read these kinds of older woman stories. So I want to give it a shot. I'm so curious to see how like Nigerian friends interact, how that's similar, how that's different, and this like mystery element of like this woman like weaseling her way into the group. And lastly, we have the Puffin Modern Classic, The Westing Game, winner of the Newbery Medal by Ellen Raskin. This is the summary. A bizarre chain of events begins when 16 unlikely people gather for the reading of Samuel W. Westing's will. Though no one knows why, the eccentric, game-loving millionaire has chosen a virtual stranger, and a possible murderer, to inherit his vast fortune. One thing's for sure, Sam Westing may be dead, but that won't stop him from playing one last game. Those who've been on my channel for a while might know that I'm not a huge mystery fan, but I think there's a comical element to this that I am intrigued by, and that's kind of why I decided to pick it up. So I'm going to read you a little bit of the beginning, just so you can understand how the vibe might be different than your traditional mystery. The sun sets in the west. Just about everyone knows that. But Sunset Towers faced east. Strange! Sunset Towers faced east and had no towers. This glittery, glassy apartment house stood alone on the Lake Michigan shore, 5 stories high. 5 empty stories high. Then one day, it happened to be the 4th of July. A most uncommon-looking delivery boy rode around town, slipping letters under the doors of the chosen tenants-to-be. The letters were signed Barney Northup. The delivery boy was 62 years old, and there was no such person as Barney Northup. That's so goofy. I'm in for a goofy good time. So, do I care about the mystery? No. But do I care about all these randos being trolled by a seemingly dead man? Yes. And with that, that is the 5 million books that I've gotten over the last couple months that I now need to get my butt in gear and read. And I need to be good. No more books, Kelly. Anywho, hope you enjoyed this silly, stupid video and that you're having an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing month. And I'll see you next time. Bye.